Let's open practice with our 90-90 flow. Remember, the key here is that you anchor down to both knees, activating the inside of the thigh on the back leg and the outer hip and glutes on the lead leg. Encourage your spine to stay nice and straight, and as you lower, focus on trying to get your navel closer to the thigh rather than collapsing at the chest or the head. And now the really challenging part, trying to move fluidly to the opposing side. Take your time and try to find that 90-90-90 once again. Anchoring down into both knees and keeping the spine straight. Remember to focus on trying to bring your navel closer to your thigh rather than aim at the head to the ground. If you can focus on the navel to the thigh, it's going to enable your spine to stay nice and straight, and again help you find greater coordination between the hips and the inner stomach muscles. The inner arches of the feet anchor down into the toes and tuck the chin in. As you seal the lips and inhale, reach the hands overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. And as you exhale, let's side bend over to the right hand side. When you're ready, you can bend the left elbow, rest the left hand behind the head and the neck. Start to notice the stretch across the left hand side of the body. Keeping the lips sealed here, breathe softly and slowly. On the inhale, reach hands overhead once more. And on the exhale, let's side bend over to the left hand side, reaching the right hand overhead, before we bend the elbow and rest the hand behind the head and the neck. Once again, anchoring into the toes and lifting the inner arches of the feet to create that firm base of support and stability. Coming back to center and just wriggling into the shoulders, let's begin a movement. Inhale, reach hands overhead. As you exhale, fold forwards into Uttanasana, forward fold. Here, bend the knees as much as you feel is appropriate for you. Encourage the navel to stay nice and close to the thighs. Let the head hang heavy and feel the stretch across the back of the legs, the hips, the low and mid back. As you become more aware of the inhale, press the hands into the shins, flatten the back. To increase the lengthening and stretching of the back of the legs, lift the hips up nice and high as though you're lifting the buttocks skywards. Seal the lips down and focus on the strength that you're beginning to create in the lower back and mid back. Breathe consciously through the nose for a final count of 5. And then as you exhale, start to lower the body back into a fold. Separate the feet so they're hip width apart or maybe a little wider. And then we have options here. Bend the knees enough so the navel drops close to the thighs. Hands can either take hold of the back of the legs, the calves, the heels, or you can come into Pada Gustasana. This is where we wrap the first fingers underneath both big toes. Once again, sealing the lips, focusing on the sensation of the inhale and the exhale. Inhale, come to flat back, take the hands to the hips, and then hinge your way up. Stepping the left foot back, but keeping the heels still hip width apart. Turn the toes of the left foot outwardly to create some support. And as you exhale, reach forwards and then fold over the right thigh. Once again, hinging at the hips and encouraging the navel to drop closer to the right thigh. This might mean bending the knee much more than you can see in the video. Let the head become heavy, seal the lips. Inhale and slowly exhale. Inhale and again slowly exhale, noticing the rhythm and depth of the breath. Hands come to the hips to hinge up halfway. And then we're going to come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Here you can use a prop to rest your right hand on. You can rest your right hand onto the shin, or you might even feel you can take the right hand down towards the foot and wrap the first finger underneath the big toe. Sealing the lips once more, noticing where you feel the stretch and trying to create some strength in the thighs by engaging around the knees. After the exhale, fold forwards and return to a flat back. Parivrtta, to revolve this posture, plant the left hand down either onto the brick or to the ground. You might prefer a second option where you can take the left hand across the right thigh or the shin. A final option is lowering down to the left knee This is going to be much more accessible and will help you with balance. Right hand lowers, hands come to the hips, and on the inhale begin to lift into the hinge. Reach hands overhead, interlace the fingertips. If you know of Kali Mudra, you can bring this into practice. If not, focus on taking your arms to either side of your ears or even beyond the ears. Feel the stretch across the front line of the body and across the stomach. Bringing the hands to the hips, step forwards. Still with the feet hip width apart, inhale to reach hands overhead. Exhale to reach and fold forwards. We can return to where we previously were, taking hold of the calves to the heels, wrapping the first fingers underneath the big toes. Or this time you can come into Padahastasana, taking the entire palm underneath the sole of the foot. Seal the lips and count the breath. Inhale. And exhale, release and relax the shoulders. Inhale, press down into the toes. And exhale. On the next inhale, begin to release the hands from the feet. Bring the hands to the hips and hinge back into a standing position. Step the right foot back into our half stance. We're going to come back into Parshvattanasana pyramid pose. Inhale to reach hands overhead. Exhale to hinge forwards and fold over the left leg, bending the left knee as much as you feel is appropriate for you. You can rest the hands onto the thigh, onto the shin, or if you can make your way down to the ground or to some props, ground the hands for more stability. Relax the head, seal the lips, and again focus on the rhythm of the breath. On our next inhale, we come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Left hand can make its way to the brick, or you can wrap the first finger underneath the big toe. Focus on twisting the navel and the heart to face the wall to your right. If you can, begin to bring some more strength to the thighs, anchor down into the toes, and feel the lengthening of the back of both legs as you do so. Right hand lowers down to the brick as a support. It might make its way down towards the floor. Left hand comes to left hip to create the twist of the torso. And then on the next inhale, see if you can reach the left hand skywards. Here, continue to lift the inner arches of the feet and press down into the toes as well as the heels. As your body feels more stable, you'll be able to create a greater twist into the hips. If you prefer lowering down to the back knee, that's also available. Inhale to come out of the posture, interlace the fingertips and once more reach the hands overhead. Here we want to feel the stretch across the front of the body, the stomach and the top of the right hip and thigh. Bringing the hands down to the hips, take a step forwards to close. For our second posture, let's bring the right leg forwards. As you bend the right knee, our focus here is actually trying to lower the left hip towards the ground. So you can see that I've propped up the underside of the right hip and extended the left leg. The right knee is resting on the ground. And then I've tucked the right heel in towards the groin. Once again, focusing on leaning over to the left slightly. As you do this, you will feel the stretch all across the right side. Relax the shoulders, seal the lips, and slow the breath down. Left leg forwards, once again walk into the folded pigeon pose. See if you can lower the gaze or even better close your eyes. Seal the lips and focus on the breath. As you balance inhale and exhale, you will feel a greater degree of softness in the posture. Bring the forearms forwards, pressing the elbows and the forearms down into the ground. Lift up into the shoulders, and then draw the shoulder blades together, projecting the heart forwards. Focus on the stretch that you can feel at the fronts of the body, stretching down the stomach and into the top of the thighs. To take it further, we walk the hands back for Cobra Pose. Pressing into the hands just enough so you can lift the chest. Focus on drawing the shoulder blades together to strengthen the muscles of the back. Taking it further still, lift up onto the toes, or you can point the toes to the wall behind, pressing into the tops of the feet, coming to upward facing dog. Lifting the knees off the ground, strengthen the thighs, lift the chest, and once again roll the shoulder blades together. To close, let's come into a supine twist. Lying on your back with your arms open into a T shape, bend the knees and lower them over to the right hand side. To increase the stretch, you can bring the right hand down and then use it to bind across the left thigh. Press both shoulder blades into the ground, seal the lips, and start to direct the breath. And now coming over to the other side. Keeping the knees bent, lower the knees over to the left hand side of your mat. Once again, the left hand can lower and you can use it to bind across the right thigh. This will increase the stretch that you feel. See if you can bring your awareness to the shoulders and relax them. Now focus on the muscles of the face and let them soften. As we bring our practice to a close, once again focus on calming the breath. In today's practice, we will share box breathing. It's a simple and effective practice that will encourage the mind and the body to drop into a state of peaceful awareness. When you hear the music begin, you will hear a beat. The practice will begin when we inhale for a beat, hold for a beat, exhale for a beat, and then hold for a beat. So the four components of our breath are all the same length: an inhale, a pause, an exhale, and a pause. I invite you to find somewhere comfortable to lie down or to sit. Open up the body with a few gentle stretches of the neck and the shoulders and your arms. And then we can begin. Let's go. Blow the breath away. Seal the lips. Inhale through the nose. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale. Continue the rhythm of the breath and follow the music. Continue the rhythm of the breath and follow the music. And that brings our practice to a close. Well done. Blink your eyes open, let your gaze fall around the room, find something that's familiar to ground the mind. Reach hands overhead, take a few gentle stretches, and we are good to go. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again soon.